Ooh. Oh, very nice.
This is the 34-inch full bank Master Tech cart from Harbor Freight in red with black trim. It has a 1,200 pound weight capacity, 18,700 cubic inches of storage space, and 100 pound slide capacity on the top drawers with a 200 pound capacity on the bottom drawers. It has 6 locking drawers with an enclosed top storage area that has gas struts to automatically open it. It is industrial powder coated to resist rust, and it has these rubberized corner bumpers to prevent damage from hitting anything else in your workspace. Next, we need to find the wheels and get them onto the box so we can stand her up. We need to unlock the box. Now to get our casters installed, and we'll be all set. All right, hardware kit, casters. These are nice, big casters. I mean, compare that to the size of my skull, right? And they have a grease fitting on them right there, so that's kind of nice as well. In addition to the 16 screws we need, it did come with one extra. The caster's attached with high-quality rib nuts, and I only see one blemish on the underside, which looks like there was some bubbling when the paint was applied. I'm sure our casters will go on easily here. I do like that all 4 casters swivel. So we'll get one started to hold that in place. Oh yeah, this thing looks sweet. We got our wheels on, we got them locked down. Time for the most dangerous part of putting one of these together, and that's tilting it up. And now, without further ado, here is the box fully assembled. Let me give you my impressions as I have a chance to really look at this box from top to bottom, starting with the finish. 99% of the surface area of this thing is finished great. It's all nice and uniform, perfectly smooth, there's not any blemishes. But there are, of course, a small number of areas that do. I can see one on the top here, and I noticed one on the bottom as well, where it's not sharp or anything, but there's just a little extra buildup or maybe a little bubbling that took place during the production process. For the price of this box and knowing that it's a budget box, I'm personally not worried about that. I actually thought it might have been worse. It has this nice handle on the side. It's very sturdy, it went on great. It's got good quality hardware that puts this together. One other thing that I like is the keys. It actually comes with 3 keys. So that's gonna give me the ability to keep one on the key ring of both of my vehicles if I didn't work out of my home garage. And I'd still have a 3rd key that I could tuck away somewhere. Moving on to the sides, these rubber bumpers are great. It's a nice supple rubber, like you can actually dent it in really easily. So it's not like a real hard plasticky bumper. It's pretty good. I really do think this is going to protect the box, and if I bump it into something, not my fiberglass race car, because that would just get destroyed, but if I bumped it into a metal corner or something like that, the box wouldn't hurt the corner either. Logo here, which is probably gonna come off when I customize the box, but that's gonna be a future video. Doesn't really do anything for me. It's black on black, and I know that that's kind of cool in some people's opinions, but to me, it's hardly legible. I would have preferred if you were gonna do this like a chrome with a black stroke around it, a little bit more old school. As far as the box, of course it locks. We're gonna go ahead and unlock it. The key works great, and then the box will pop up on its own, which is pretty cool. Here we've got more what I would have wanted for this logo, where it's black with a silver stroke so that you can actually read what you're looking at. Now this will probably also come off at some point when I go to customize the box, not because I'm embarrassed that I bought the budget brand, but because I would much rather put some cool sort of Kame trick logo or something like that here on the front, and some sort of a mural or maybe a woodblock print or something like that, kind of unique. Looking around inside, we've got a pair of gas struts which hold the lid open, and these are pretty strong. Like, it's got some force, so I don't have any worry that the lid's gonna snap shut. Inside, you can see that we've got a locking mechanism here, which is gonna lock the drawers. In addition to the main locking system on this box, each individual drawer has a slide lock system. What that means is, from the far left to the far right, there are a series of little slats, and you can stick your fingers up into them anywhere on here since they span the full distance. Move your hand over to the left, and that unlocks the drawer so that you can pull it out. And as you can see here, there's this little locking pin, and I'll show you how that actuates when you move over to the side, and then the drawers come out. Now, as for the drawers themselves, they do open all the way, which I really like. So you could have something all the way out here, and you wouldn't have to worry about being able to pull it straight up. Some cheaper boxes, they don't come out quite all the way, and so then you have this little extra gap where you have to reach in and wiggle stuff out. But here you can load it fully down. Also, the slide hinges actuate really well, so there's no issue at all with opening and closing these. They're not like the automatic shutting kind, but they slide quite a bit for not much. And we'll just go ahead and lock that back in. That same construction and style applies to all the drawers, and then the bottom one has actually 2 hinges, which is going to give it higher capacity, and this is where you can keep a lot of your heavy stuff that you don't use quite so often. Now that we've covered all the drawers, I'll talk a little bit more about the top. We have got a nice pre-cut mat, which comes with it. There's no extra charge for that. Another thing that you've got here is a little black cover plate, and that goes through to the back side of the unit as well. If you take off this metal cover, it actually has like a rubber gasket with some little strips cut into it so that you can pass a power strip through if you want to run this as a powered box and then be able to plug in other things to it. Harbor Freight actually sells power strips that are metal housings, and they have magnets, so you can just pop it right on here. I think it's a nice touch that if you don't want to, they have these metal block-off plates just to keep things from getting in or out. Now along the sides here outside of the main storage compartment, you have a series of holes that you can put like pry bars and long screwdrivers or breaker bars down into. And these go down basically the full length of the unit and occupy this area where the drawers are not and where these little bump guards are. This is a really nice feature. I know it's common to a lot of boxes, but just to give you an idea of what you can fit in here, I keep a breaker bar in one of the smaller ones, but you can also keep pretty substantially sized pry bars and things of that nature down in here as well. Moving down to the very bottom of this unit, the casters themselves are actually really nice as well. Come check them out. The 4 large swivel casters each have a brake and a grease fitting for maintenance, and they roll great over my garage, which is not original to the house, so there are some big seams in the concrete. And now that we've talked about the features and examined this box from top to bottom, we can talk about price. You can get this box for $699 from Harbor Freight without any promotions of any kind. And this box is a direct copy of a Matco box that is $1,800? 700 bucks versus 1,800 bucks. That is remarkable. And after taking a look at this box, I am pretty darn confident that there is not a whole lot on a functional aspect to choose between this one and the Matco box. Obviously, a Matco box or a Snap-on box, because I believe they also make a similar one, is gonna have some status to it, which if you are worried about that, more power to you, that's great. But from a pure function perspective, this thing is gonna work great. And I think it's gonna outlast me and my career working on cars as a homeowner and a DIY mechanic very easily. This thing's gonna be here long after I am gone. In fact, there's not a whole lot of wear parts to it. I mean, the struts could wear out. I'm sure they can be replaced. The casters could wear out. I'm sure they could be replaced. And of course the hinges on the slide out drawers. Those could go bad, but realistically, that's it. The whole rest of this is steel and it's not going anywhere. The only things that you might want to look at differently is if you are a professional mechanic and you have got 40 years of work ahead of you, maybe then you might consider getting something different. But honestly, because you could buy several of these before you would be able to have the total that you'd spend on just one tool truck box, I think that you could get a career's worth of work out of these boxes, even if you had to buy 2 or 3 over the course of your career. And don't forget, this is an affordable box before there's any promotions. I managed to buy it 10% off on pre-sale, and then through some unique aspects of the Harbor Freight logistics system and maybe some incredible luck, I actually got an additional 15% off of that when I picked the item up. I'll make a separate video on how that ended up working out. I feel like I stole it. So I feel great about this purchase. I can't wait to use it. If you want to see how this box comes together, I am going to be customizing it and working on improving the efficiency. I just slapped stuff in here mainly to make room to put this box into the garage. So if you want to check that out, subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this video and it helped you out, hit like. Let me know if you got any questions or comments down below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.